This is your complete guide to making Italian-style macarons. If you're new to making macarons, the type of meringue that you make determines what style of macarons you make. So today we're focusing on making some Italian meringue, which is made by pouring hot sugar syrup into egg whites to stabilize them. The benefits of Italian meringue is that it's a little bit more stable than your common or French meringue. This video will walk you through absolutely everything you need to know, so I hope that you find this guide helpful. However, if you do run into any frustrations or ruined macarons along the way, don't worry, I'll have all of my troubleshooting guides linked in the description below. And feel free to always leave a comment and I'll help you out where I can. This is just one video of many in our macaron series, so don't forget to subscribe to stick around to watch all of them. Before we can begin baking, we have to do some prep work. Separate your egg whites from your egg yolks and then allow the egg whites to come to room temperature. Egg whites foam best at room temperature around 70 to 80 degrees, which is why this step is necessary. If you'd like, you can also age your egg whites. This helps some of the excess moisture evaporate. Place a piece of plastic wrap over the egg whites and then poke a couple holes with a knife. Then you'll place these into the refrigerator for 2 to 5 days before you want to bake. Next, weigh out all of your dry ingredients on a digital scale. This helps ensure that all of your measurements will be accurate. Once everything is weighed, it's time to sift the almond flour and confectioner's sugar together. You'll want to do this twice, and while you're doing this, discard any large pieces of almond flour that may cause your shells to be bumpy. Next, wipe down the stand mixer bowl and whisk attachment with a little white vinegar on a paper towel to remove any leftover oils. Fats interfere with the aeration of the egg whites and can ruin your meringue, which is why this step is so important. Next, grab a light-colored sheet pan and print off a macaron template. I have a free template that you can print out, I'll link it in the description below. Then place that under a piece of parchment paper. Finally, it's time to prepare your piping bag. You can use either a 1/2 inch round piping tip or something a little bit smaller, which will give you some more control. Place the piping tip inside the bag and then push part of the side of the piping bag into the piping tip to ensure none of the batter leaks out. Set the bag inside a tall glass and pull the remaining top of the piping bag out over the glass. Next, it's time to make the Italian meringue. Add 105 grams of egg whites along with 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar to a stand mixer fitted with a whisk attachment. Whip on medium speed until the eggs are very foamy, right before soft peaks form. This usually takes about 6 or 7 minutes. While that's going, we're going to start on the sugar syrup. Add 150 grams of granulated sugar and 57 grams of water to a saucepan. Cook that over medium-high heat until it reaches 244 degrees Fahrenheit on a digital thermometer. Now that your egg whites are foamy, we're going to slowly start to drip the hot sugar syrup into the egg whites while the mixer is on medium-high speed, around 7 on a KitchenAid mixer. Be sure that the sugar runs down the bowl and doesn't hit the whisk attachment or it will splatter along the side of the mixing bowl. Do this process slowly so that the egg whites can heat up slowly and not too quickly. Then allow the Italian meringue to continue to whip for about 4 to 5 minutes until it reaches stiff peaks. Here's an example of soft peaks and medium peaks to help you see visually what each of these stages looks like and how they differ from stiff peaks. Once you get to stiff peaks, you'll notice a few signs. When you pull the whisk out of the mixer, a stiff peak should stand straight up with no curl at the tip. You'll also notice that the meringue starts to ball up inside the whisk while it's mixing. When you visually inspect the meringue, you can see pointy offshoots of egg whites in the bowl. And finally, you can fully flip the bowl over and nothing moves or falls out. Next, it's time to fold in our dry ingredients. We're using 144 grams of both almond flour and confectioner's sugar that have been sifted together. Gently fold these into the egg whites using a silicone spatula until all the meringue is fully incorporated and no dry bits remain. And then we're adding in 5 to 6 drops of gel food coloring. Don't be tempted to use liquid here, as it will add in too much moisture to the macaron batter. Then begin working the batter until everything is fully incorporated. This is called the macaronage stage. Slowly spread the mixture along the side of the bowl and then wipe it back down. This is working the batter to get it to a flowy, lava-like consistency. This is a very crucial step to get correct if you want your macarons to turn out properly. Here's an example of what the perfect macaronage batter looks like. It's smooth, flowy, shiny, and the ribbons that fall into the bottom of the bowl will disappear within 10 to 15 seconds. On the other hand, here is batter that has been over macaronaged. It's way too thin and runny. Spoon the batter into your prepared piping tip, and then pipe the batter onto the baking sheets by holding the bag vertically and gently squeezing until the batter reaches 1.5 inches. If you're using my template that I created, which I'll link in the description below, this is the middle line. You can also pipe various sized macarons depending on your personal preference. Just know that the baking time will differ. Then bang the sheet pan down on the counter a few times to release any air bubbles. This is crucial to avoid cracked macarons. You can then pop any air bubbles that rise to the top with a toothpick. Next, preheat your oven and allow the macarons to dry on the counter for about 60 minutes until a thin skin develops on top. Then you can bake the macarons for about 19 to 23 minutes. Once they're baked, feet will no longer be wet or feel sticky. You should be left with perfectly smooth tops, slightly raised feet, and a full chewy interior. Then you can pipe your desired filling in the middle. I have recipes for chocolate ganache or vanilla buttercream, but there are also lots of different options. I'll link some of my favorite filling recipes below. Then from here, allow the macarons to mature in the refrigerator overnight to develop a deeper flavor and enjoy. The full recipe along with tips and tricks will be linked in the description below.